I'm joined now by His Excellency Khaldoon Mubarak. It's really good to chat to you. There's so much to talk about going into what is going to be quite a pivotal week, I think, for the global economy. But first, let me just start off with a question about Mubadala, because this is the second year in a row, I believe, that you were the most active sovereign wealth fund in the world. Why have you been so active?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today with Bloomberg, especially on a Monday before this very interesting week we have ahead of us. 2025 was another very active year for Mubadala. Listen, the markets have been very interesting in the sectors we like, in the geographies we like. We've been working hard since inception to get Mubadala to where it is today. And I think over the last 2 years, we've really cranked it up. As an organization, as an institution, and 25, I think we deployed anywhere between $35 to $40 billion in terms of investments around the world. We've had a lot of monetizations also. We've effectively monetized probably the same amount, around 35 to 40 billion also.
What about the sectors you like going into 2026? Is it the same pretty much playbook that you looked at in 2025, or are things going to be a little different?
Yeah, I think our trajectory in terms of sectors over the last couple of years has been pretty consistent. I think we've taken a very strong view on artificial intelligence, on AI, the entire spectrum of technology. I think that's an area Mubadala has been really spending a lot of time on. So that continues to be the case. I think on the infrastructure side of it, digital infrastructure, that remains, again, a very core area for us. Healthcare, consumer, financial services, credit. These are, again, areas which have performed extremely well over these last couple of years. And I think going forward, we continue to be pretty convinced of these spaces.
There's a lot of talk, as you see. You're watching Bloomberg, I'm sure. You see a lot of people talking about too much hype or over-exuberance in the ecosystem of artificial intelligence. Has it made you have to be a lot more discerning about where you're looking for value and for growth and for scale in this space?
No, I think the space, we have a lot of conviction on that space. I think leaving the noise and the hype aside, I think we have a very clear view of what we think are the investable spaces within the technology space, where we think, particularly when it comes to AI enablement, there's a lot of aspects that I think we believe in, we've invested well in, I think we will continue to invest in, and I think the growth continues to be high in that area.
Yeah, last year when I spoke to your deputy, Walid, he was mentioning to me that private credit was a really big performing part of your portfolio. Do you expect that to continue in coming years, given how much spread compression we've seen in that place and also new players coming to the market?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've built the capability in private credit over these last couple of years. It's now a significant contributor to our balance sheet. Last year was the best. No, 2024, when he would have spoken to you, it was the best performing asset class for us. Last year it was strong. I think mid double digits, so quite strong. As you said, I think there's more headwinds in that space. But I think if you are with the right partner, and given the platforms we've built over these last couple of years, we remain quite, I would say, bullish and firm on that space.
Yeah, let's talk about your geographic focus. The UAE last year pledged to invest $1.4 trillion into the US. How much of Mubadala's investment objectives are centered around opportunities specifically in North America and the United States?
Well, let's start with the first word you used, the UAE. The UAE is a very important aspect of our portfolio. Of course, we are based in the UAE. We are owned by the government of Abu Dhabi. We have a significant aspect of our portfolio in the UAE. And last year was an exceptional year for us. We had north of 20% returns in our UAE portfolio across real estate, infrastructure, industrials, technology. So it's been a very strong year for us in the UAE. And I think the UAE is well positioned for growth, I think, going forward. And we're well positioned to take advantage of that as significant investors in the UAE market. The US, of course, is the largest market, is where we've been significantly invested since inception. It remains our largest market in terms of, particularly in the sectors we're focusing on, technology. 25 was a good year. 26, I think we will continue to invest. You talked about the commitment made last year. I think for us, it's business as usual in the US. We know the US market. We know how to invest. We know where to invest, and we have the right partners to invest with there.
What about Asia? What opportunities are you seeing there?
I really like Asia. I really like Asia. Over these last 10 years, we've been starting from a weak point as a portfolio. We were undervested in Asia. I've focused a lot, I think, as an organization in Mubadala towards building our knowledge in Asia, understanding the markets, and then focusing on the sectors we like most. We've done that. Today we have a very strong operation in China. We know the markets in Southeast Asia well. 2025 was strong in Korea, Japan, China. All these markets we've done very well in.
Yeah.
So I think it worked very well for us.
Yeah, that lays up
focus on Asia.
nicely my next question, which is one about the main story this week, which is going to be geoeconomic fragmentation and the weaponization of economy. Do you worry about the consequences of that and the fact that you will and you are trading with different potentially competing blocks around the world and the potential retribution that could bring up from the US administration?
I think one has to always be careful. I think as geopolitics plays the role it plays, and increasingly more and more, it impacts all businesses and it impacts all, I would say, investment institutions. One has to be very conscientious of that. I think we've done very well. I think as the UAE, in that sense, we've done very well as an investment institution, as Mubadala in that sense also. We try to be agnostic. We try to pick the sectors right. We try to position ourselves with the right partners, both west, east, north, south. And I think we've done that. And our return, I think, shows that. Today, Mubadala, when I look at our returns over 10 years, over 5 years, double digits. We continue to be north of 10% on average over the last 10 years, which shows, again, among sovereign funds, we're probably top of the list.
Yeah, so a move to a multipolar world is not going to affect your investment decisions?
No, because I think it actually fits very well the way we operate and the way we invest.